Michael Jackson, shut up.
Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna send it to Discord. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna send it to Discord. There we go.
Dude.
Thank you, love. Okay, let me put my earbuds in.
Keep an eye on the weather because currently decided to start.
Oh, even better. That's fantastic. Let's do this. Okay, and now to share to people. Welcome in, everyone. How are you guys doing? Oh, 1 second. Okay, sorry, Blythe messaged me to find out if we were doing TikTok or Zoom, and then she realized, oh, it's TikTok, so she'll be here in just a second. Welcome in, everyone. And in the meantime, I am going to share this with some people.
Stop using bounce, Jamie.
Welcome in, everyone.
You're making weird jokes.
Let's see.
You said Cinderella's weird jokes.
There we go. Welcome in, everyone. Okay, so we have Blythe Potter joining us. She is running for Indiana's state secretary, and she will be with us in just a moment. And of course, there's a clump of cat hair over here. Why would there not be? Hi, Lynn. How are you?
This is the best stream I've ever seen. That looks like...
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you're having a good Sunday. It is Sunday, yeah? Yeah, it's Sunday. It's been a week. You're okay? It took a while? I'm glad you're doing okay. Or has it been a while? It's been a while.
What is this UI desk?
Welcome in, everyone.
I think bro was angry that he didn't go that.
Hi!
Woo! You're loud.
Oh.
Hold on. Let's turn that down.
Why can't I see myself? What happened here? There
we got
go.
video. Now we got video.
Sorry.
Now we have video and audio.
Yay! How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Crazy?
It's a roller coaster, right? Like, and I say this not just as a campaign thing, like our existence in Indiana. The highs are high, the lows are low, and everything in between is like, what's happening next?
Right? No, I live in Indiana. I live in Hamilton County. Believe me, I'm right there with everybody. I get Indiana. Oh, I have so many things to say about Indiana. So many not positive things to say. I think the only positive thing I can say so far this year is the permanent injunction that judge put on the total abortion ban for our state, basically saying that a fringe group of religious fanatics should not have the right to dictate everybody's bodily autonomy. And I'm like, for once, he had two brain cells. They rubbed together. Oh my God.
Now, if we could get those brain cells in Louisiana or whatever judges are going to see what's happening with that, we might be
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Dude, the
You know, but
Louisiana
it's-
thing like has me spinning because
Well-
this happens in other states when it happens in one place.
I was going to say, and then the other states where, oh yeah, having a miscarriage, you're now going to go to jail. And it's like, you want women to have babies, but you're making it so we don't want to have babies.
And completely ignoring that, statistically speaking, over 25% of pregnancies end in miscarriage due to no fault of anybody.
Over 70% of first-time pregnancies end in miscarriage, literally due to nobody's fault.
Yep.
It just happens because the DNA of the ovum and the sperm together do not mesh with the female's body, and she gets rid of it.
And our
I
body's
didn't know.
like,
I've
wait,
had
what's
5 of
happening here?
those.
This is different. This is new. We've never experienced this before. Go away.
Right. Well, with my son, I ended up having what's called fetal microchromoism, where my blood type changed to match him to stay pregnant with him.
So what does that mean for you?
So I was born with A positive blood.
Okay.
His biological father, while DNA shows he's O positive, he's actually got what's called the hidden H allele, which it masks the secondary. So the secondary is either A or B. So when I got pregnant with my son, he actually passed on the B part of his DNA. And my body, in order to stay pregnant with my son, because it decided it was not compatible, allowed backflow, and my blood type changed to accommodate him. And now I will be AB positive for the rest of my life.
That is simultaneously terrifying and really freaking cool.
It's a miracle, but
It is.
but that's just exactly what happens when women are pregnant. Is it literally changes our bodies on a molecular level,
Yep.
on a genetic level. Like, it changes our bodies physically. I wanted 3 or 4 kids. I have 2. I will probably not have more than 2 because I cannot even afford the 2 I have.
Yeah, I feel that. I only have 1 and I can't afford her.
Thank you for the follow. Exactly. So you feel it. And mind you, we live in a state where growing up, the Midwest was always considered more affordable. Yeah, you may not have as hoity-toity and rich of areas you would have like in California or, Manhattan, but they were still nice areas in those lands. But at the same time, it was affordable to live there.
Yep.
We in Indiana have seen, like, our house alone, when my husband bought it, 17, almost 18 years ago, $119,000. If we were to sell it as is right now, and mind you, it needs a lot of work, $250 to $300. If we actually fixed it up, $300 to $350.
And could you afford
The
to move
two-story-
elsewhere?
I couldn't even afford to move into a house in my own division.
Same.
I couldn't afford to upgrade to a 2-story where we have an extra room. So we could either have a 3rd kid or I could have a crafting space, because you should see my kitchen table right now.
No, girl. Do you want to show people what our messes look like? Because same, we moved here
I will.
a
Here,
month
let me,
before I found out I was pregnant. We had 2 girls. They're adults now. Yes. Oh my God. I am not alone. Look at same. That's our kitchen table because we suddenly don't have space.
Right. I'm a crafter, okay? So I make crochet stuff. Like, I made this tote bag. I love to do stuff like that. But what I'm doing for my massage booth is I'm actually making floral bouquets.
Aww.
So that way I can hang them up and make my massage booth have a fantasy fairyland feel.
I love it.
And I have string lights that my husband is going to help me cut into the proper segments so we can actually attach the connectors to it, because we have a whole box of male-female connectors.
Nice.
To do this, so that way we can have the proper size things. And I just have more floral arrangements to make. I have I
love it.
8 more I have to do. And there's more flowers in here. Like, it's a mess.
No, but I think this is normal. Like, same. I try to put things away. My laundry is ridiculous.
Right.
There's just, we need space that we don't have. And even if we sold the house for more than what we owe, or more than what we owe, or more than what we paid, we could barely afford an apartment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just the thing is, we're right there with you. We would have to move to a totally different area of our state because Noblesville has become too rich for us.
Yeah.
Noblesville was always supposed to be the quote unquote poor man's Fishers. The poor and Fisher's was always supposed to be the poor man's, Carmel and Geist.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to compete, but at the same time, we have foreign investors coming and buying up our land, driving up the prices. They're renting out the homes instead of selling them.
Yep.
On top of that, the money's not going back into our economy because the key word, foreign investors. The money is going back to their country to enrich their economy.
Yep. Yeah. Same. It's hard.
It is. But that is proof of you walk in my shoes. You understand what it's like to not have the room. I know talking to Michael, there have been times where you guys have understood what it's like to tighten the belt. You've understood what it's like to possibly go without a meal so that your kid eats 3 meals a day.
Yep.
You know what it's like to literally walk a day in the vast majority of American shoes where I should be middle class. So why are we back to struggling instead of thriving?
Yeah. Same. Yeah, same. And I think that's what makes this moment we are in so unique. We have a lot of candidates who know the struggle of being an average, normal Hoosier trying to live. Mm-hmm. And I think that perspective in the general, with Republicans, with independents, with non-voters who are eligible or registered to vote, I think that resonates more than any amount of money, than any name, than pretty much any platform point, because understanding the struggle that we exist in, I think is the only way to get out of it. I really do. And I'm not saying I have an answer to get out, because we're gonna have to pivot as things evolve. But who better to pivot as things evolve than people like us who do it
right
every day?
No, Miss Vicky, she's got a platform, but here's the thing is, at the end of the day, this is the reason why I do these interviews, is I want to have a conversation with the candidates and find out who they are.
I don't drink.
You can smell cheap vodka through the stream. Well, congratulations, Tessa. I haven't had a sip of alcohol. Well, I take that back. I had a sip of champagne at a tea party last August, but before that, it'd been a decade.
Yeah, I mean, same. I don't drink. I drink coffee. And yes, Miss Vicky, I have a platform, but I'm saying is this understanding of how Hoosiers live for candidates almost is more important than any platform point, is what I'm saying. Not more important than having a platform. You still need a platform. But
right.
I think that is the piece we are missing in politics, is the of the people part.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's why I'm doing this, is because I want to find out who you are as a person, because at the end of the day, that is what Americans are going to vote for now, because we are tired of the policies of the platforms, because it's all a bunch of lies.
Yeah.
I want to know, how authentic are you? And I've realized that by having multiple conversations with somebody and really getting them to laugh, they can't hide who they are. They will become their most authentic selves, and we will find out whether or not you deserve to have our vote. And for the most part, everything I've seen of you and everybody else I've interviewed, you really do deserve our votes. You do, absolutely. You're here for the people. You're actually going out and talking to people and trying to find, solutions to the problems that Hoosiers deal with every day. One of the things we have to do is we have to vote all the representatives who decided not to sign for the Sunbucks, who decided it was too much of a hassle to make sure kids were fed for the summer.
Yeah.
My kids get that. It's a little bit of money. It's $120 per kid for the summer. That breaks down to $60 per month, because it's 2 months. That's $15 a week, because it's 8 weeks. That's $3 a day for 5 days to help keep kids fed. That's all it was. They just had to fill out some paperwork and pay the administration fee, which was significantly less than the amount of money we were going to get from the federal government. Yeah. But then the representatives decided to say, nope, we don't want it.
Yep. Surplus be damned. We don't want it.
Thank you for the heart, Miwezi.
Miss Vicky, are you talking to me specifically, or candidates in general? I've been involved with a lot of community organizations in Johnson County, Assist Johnson County, Leadership Johnson County. I grew up in a Republican home. Indiana relies so heavily on 501c3s and nonprofits to get our social services out. That's part of the reason I'm doing this. We have government that should be doing that for us, and that would ease the burden on taxpayers, residents, 501c3s, and 501c4s. And all of that is just sharing information and making things that the Secretary of State's office oversees easier for everybody, not just Democrats or Republicans, everyone.
It's supposed to be everyone because, yeah, here's the thing. I'm trying to get some Republicans on there, or people who say they're Republicans. So far, I've had a lot of nasty responses back from them saying no and why they're saying no. One of them told me if I was a dude, he would do it, but he thinks women shouldn't be in politics. So,
well,
yeah.
Well,
I'm trying, but it's hard to get people on when they don't even want to talk to you because you were born a different gender than them, that you weren't born with something swinging between your legs. Yeah. I've had one Democrat give me a nasty response, but out of 300 Democrats I've messaged, one nasty response.
Yeah.
Like everybody else has jumped at it, and I'll come in and when they're being interviewed by somebody else, and then I'm like, but I did message you like a month ago, and they're like, oh my bad. I'm like, yep, just go through your DMs and message me when you can.
I miss stuff all the time. I feel so badly. I dropped the ball with Natasha Baker. I dropped the ball with Drew Cox. Things like that I will remember the rest of my life because I did not mean to. Like, we miss stuff. So, and it's not intentional.
Yep.
I have campaigned before. So I've been involved locally into the Johnson County Democratic Party really heavily since 2023 as a precinct chair. I've been a state and national elected delegate. In 2023, I ran for Bargersville Town Council against 3 Republican incumbents and almost won. I did that by literally hitting every door with no data, no van. They were calling people at 5:55 p.m. to get people to come vote. That's how close the race was. And they went through and since 2023 have taken my platform that I had and started implementing that, including getting rid of Bradford pear trees, Indiana. And then in 2024, I ran for Johnson County Council. We are such a red county. I've literally had our elders and experienced wealthy Democrats in this party, in this state, tell me to not mess with Johnson County because it's a worthless cause. And I'm here to say there is nothing in the state of Indiana that is a worthless cause. So middle fingers to that sentiment, and we will onward.
She's running for state secretary in Indiana.
Yep. Secretary of State oversees elections and administrative stuff. So like the business articles of organizations, that website, finding out how people vote, who's on your ballot, information like that. It's administrative record keeping.
But that was actually going to be one of my first questions for you. Explain to us exactly what that job does, because I've researched it, but there's a lot of people out there that don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, I still learn things every day. That is how disconnected I have historically been from politics. I did not grow up in politics. I don't have family money. I have no family name. But predominantly it's overseeing the elections and working with the county clerks to make sure the elections are free, fair, and safe and secure. By and large, they are. It's actually very hard to cheat in elections, especially in Indiana. The NBIZ website is where business owners go to get LLCs, S Corps, things like that. Most of the websites, like the campaign finance, have not been updated since 1997.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That needs to change. Notaries Public. I am a precinct committee person, yes. And have been. This will be my second time on the ballot as a precinct chair. I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, record keeping data security.
Yes.
Which is very important. It's boring administrative stuff.
It is, but you know what? It's so bloody important that people don't even understand. That we need somebody in that position who genuinely wants to keep our privacy private, who is not okay with releasing our health information to the federal government so that they can track women who go across state lines for an AB. No. We need somebody who's willing to sit there and say, no, absolutely not. We are not releasing that information. That is private. That needs to stay private.
But also, this is also party building. Part of my platform is making sure the Democratic Party has a viable party going forward. And I think this is the year to do that. And I say that knowing that a lot of Democrats don't agree with what I have to say. We are having a big disconnect within our party, nationally and locally. And I see all sides of it. I understand that change is hard, but I think it's important. And I think that's also important with my candidacy is I have been party building for several years. And I think the most important elected job is precinct committee person, to be honest, because that's where our communities, that's where we can rebuild this together.
Yeah. So when it comes to the scope and the scale of the priorities, I was talking to one of my friends, and it really goes, the local level is the most important because that literally dictates your day-to-day life.
Yep.
Then it goes state Congress, state Senate, then federal Congress, federal Senate. And believe it or not, the least important job out of all of it is actually President of the United States. That is the least important out of all of those tiers. The most important is your local representatives. So your labor commissioners, your state secretary, your treasurer, you know, the city council members, board members. Yeah. The superintendent, all of that, that is the most important because that truly dictates your day-to-day life.
Yep.
Now, do you have a primary coming up, or has that already passed?
No, I have a convention coming up. So here, it's the weirdest form of gatekeeping I think politics has, but it's gatekeeping. So the primary is on Tuesday in Indiana. There you will see, likely, depending on your county, you will see them on your ballot because you have a contested primary for your delegates. Delegates will go to the convention in June, and those delegates are voting for their communities. So your voices need to be heard by the state delegates that will go in June to vote for me. That's how I'm put on the November ballot.
Yep.
By less than 1% of the population.
Yeah. Yep.
Also
like
something I want to
22
change.
people get to choose whether or not you get on the ballot. And it's like, this is right up there with the Electoral College, where I think we need to get rid of some things and revamp our voting system because while it worked once upon a time, it's antiquated and it doesn't work for our modern society.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is our government needs to flow and change along with modern technology and society so that way it continues to work for us.
Yep.
Perfect example, regulating AI, regulating data centers on the state level. I know there's some states that have put in temporary moratoriums. Every state needs to do that until AI and data centers gets regulated because we have that, $10 billion meta campus being built just outside of Lebanon. We drove past it when we went to Illinois to pick up some of my meds. And I'm sitting there going, I thought they were building a huge football stadium to begin with. I'm like, how big? It was 1.5 miles long.
Oh my God.
It was 1.5 miles long. We don't need that.
We don't. Well, here's the thing. To continue storing data like we do need something like that.
Right.
But it can be done better. It can be done more sustainably where it's not using our resources and affecting our communities. It can be done to where the taxpayers aren't fronting the bill. The companies are. It can be done to where there's more transparency, where our local and state governments are telling us what TF is actually happening. If we are going to do it and then still give those contracts to our labor unions, but make it hurt everybody less. Don't pit us against the labor unions. Like, what is happening here?
No, and here's the thing is the unions are literally there to protect the workers and the workers' rights. And mind you, when I worked for Target, they were trying to unionize, the workers were, and the management kept telling everybody, no, it's bad for you. So I went home, of course, did my research, and then went back and was telling everybody, no, actually it's good because then it protects us into XYZ. The reason why these were started back in the 1920s was because of these exact issues where they were basically turning everybody into slave labor and not paying them any sort of compensation that would be considered fair or livable.
Yep.
Like we've had this, it's been 100 years, but we're right back to where we were at the end of the 1920s, beginning of the 1930s, where we had these issues.
Yep. And it's not just pay, it's also safety. A lot of the laborers who've been striking or who've been locked out, it's not just about money. They want work-life balance. They don't want to be told you're on call, whether you like it or not. You have to work overtime whether you like it or not. Like, don't tell me I can't spend my Saturday or my Sunday with my daughter because you decided not to hire more people. So,
and then that going back to the meta thing, I was doing my research on them. And one of the things that really bothers me, and this is something that we do need to discuss, is They're going to be taking our potable water sources, using it to clean their systems. And what they have decided to do is instead of cleaning the water before they return it to wherever they take it from, they're just going to put it back. And their concern is actually just finding ways to make more potable water sources for Indiana rather than cleaning the water they use that they're going to put contaminated back into the ground. And now you've just contaminated all the water and the land, and you've made it worse.
Yeah. And there are ways to go about doing that. They just refuse to make that the standard because it takes a little extra effort on their behalf.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of money and a little bit of extra effort. But oh no, God forbid, they make $100,000 less for the year because they actually did the thing.
How dare you take away their extra long weekend in Paris? Whatever it is.
Their car, their new
Yeah.
Lamborghini. How
Yeah.
dare you take away their new Lamborghini because they need number 12.
Yeah. I don't know what
It
that
is on
means.
purpose, Dawn. That's just it, is that we're going to move that dude along. It is on purpose. And we are well aware of the fact that they are doing all of this on purpose. They try to keep the poor poor so they can keep the rich rich.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what we're seeing in the, especially in the United States, where again, we have more and more people, who used to be sitting there and going, hey, I can afford everything, finally turning around and pulling their head out of the ground and going, why is gas now $5 a gallon? And we're looking at them going, well, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. I don't know. Are you millennial, elder millennial, or
I
Gen
am an
X?
elder millennial. I was just getting ready to
Okay.
reply to that. Yep. I'm an elder.
I was gonna say-
I turned 44 in 2 weeks.
I thought you were like 2 years older than me because I turned 42 in July.
Yay!
So
our 40s are
it's one of
supposed to
those,
be
yeah.
the best decade, and why are we doing this?
because it's our 40s, and here's the thing: is our 30s are about establishing our families. Our 40s are about protecting them and then seeing the injustices in the world around us and correcting them.
Yep.
Because that's what we do in our 40s because we're powerful.
Yep.
We are starting to hit our peak because we are not past our prime. They say at 35 women are past their prime. Honey, 40, we have just started to hit our peak. You
They
peak in your
say that
20s.
to
So you need to
deter
go
us.
quiet and you need to take a step back and let women take over now. Thank you
Yep.
very
And
much.
I'm going to say
because
40s and beyond. Because let's be completely honest, there are some badass women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Lucille
doing this
Bell,
work
Betty
right
White,
now.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
But
Barbara
even in our
Walters,
communities.
yes, those are all women who were doing their things up until they passed in their
Yep.
80s and 90s.
Yep.
But that's just it. That's what happens. It's genetically, evolution wise, and I'll fill you in. So if you look at women's bodies versus men's bodies, reproduction is a perfect example of this. As women get older, the reason why we go through menopause is so that way we live longer, because our job in our evolutionary process is actually to carry on the history of our people. It's the reason why men typically die in their 70s, 80s, but women who are allowed to actually be healthy and not have 10 children live to be almost 90, if not 100, because we're actually designed to live longer because of the fact that our body is born with things inside of it that actually helped to preserve our cells. Perfect example. Your ovum will be the same exact DNA structure, sequence, and purity as they were while you were still in your mother's womb, because they actually have a genetic sequence in the oh God, what is it called? It starts with an M, but it's the maternal genetic chromosome where the men's falls
Mitochondria?
off, but the women's stays. Thank you, mitochondria. And the woman stays, and it actually causes our bodies to preserve ourselves longer, which is why when we're healthy, we look like we're in our 30s when we're almost 50. Because we're healthy. That's how our bodies are supposed to be. So I get told I look 27, 28 all the time, and I laugh. I'm like, well, maybe that's just what 40 looks like when you're healthy.
And having healthy ways of expressing what's happening with us, which I think is an important to hit on too. And I love that you mentioned that, because I think the way women connect with our ancestors and the generational trauma, and the understanding of what it means to be a female over the last 2,000 years,
Right?
Patriarchy has done this. And I don't like to bring it back to that because people get crazy, but it is true. But how cool
It's a
is it?
systemic issue.
It is, but this is just so encouraging because we were able to be passed down that and recognize it. We've lived to be old enough to recognize it. And so do our kids. They have it too. So
And see, and with our family, that's exactly what we're doing is we're breaking cycles. I'm bipolar manic depressive, okay? I know that I have triggers, and so I try very hard to make sure my children know when they are acting as a trigger, because I'm in a lot of pain because I also have fibromyalgia. And when I'm elevated pain levels, I'm the first to admit I'm a crank monster until all my meds kick in. Like, first thing in the morning, leave me alone for 45 minutes because that's how long it takes for my meds to kick in and my body to not be up here and me to be back down here so I don't snap. So it's one of those, as my kids have grown up, we've had those conversations about healthy coping mechanisms, because is it right for me to snap at them all the time? Oh, absolutely not. So when I do, afterwards, we sit down and I apologize. And I'm the first to say, guys, listen, I'm sorry. I'm human. While you were pushing my buttons, you didn't deserve that. You deserve better. You deserve better than what my parents did to me and what my grandmother did to me. You deserve kindness. You deserve empathy. You deserve compassion. You deserve grace. So that is how I always try to lead with my kids, because that's how I want them to lead in the world. It's one of those, we truly are our children's first role models. So either we're going to demonstrate how to live through the world properly, or we're going to demonstrate exactly how to not treat everybody, because that's how you end up being alienated. My grandmere AJ.
I love that you are so human about this. You are such a good mom. You're breaking cycles, and we don't break cycles in silence. We break it by talking about how it's going. So I love this. And I also love that you're a massage therapist, because
yes, I love you too. And I'm like, we have to get together.
What could we have in common? This is amazing.
Yeah. No, and I love that. I'm like, we really do need to get together, and I need to work on you at some point in time. We will make that happen.
We have got to make a trade or something happen for sure.
Yes. We will absolutely make it happen. Yeah. But no, and here's the thing but that's just it is, we're moms, okay? Mm-hmm. We understand, we've been there. We know what it's like to also raise a daughter in this world.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have talked to a few gentlemen who, it took the 62 million men issue a few weeks ago for them to take a step back and actually realize what we've been saying, because it doesn't matter about how many people it really is. Those were unique views. That means different IP addresses. Mm-hmm. Let's just leave it at that. It's unique views. And then the next month, there was 82 million. And this is what women deal with their spouses, with their boyfriends, with the people that they're supposed to be the closest with, that are supposed to be the ones that protect them from the world. And they're the ones violating them. And you wonder why women are terrified.
They don't know.
Yeah. And men wonder why women would choose the bear. Well, I would choose the bear because I know why the bear's there. I don't know why you're there in the forest with me. Yeah. Like, seriously. Did I invite you? No. Then why are you following me? I've been essayed 10 times. 10 different men. First time I was 9. So one of the cycles in my family we're breaking, and I talked to my mom about this, and she's 100% on board, is we got her past the age I was when my innocence was forcefully taken from me. Now we have to get her past the age my mom was, which was 13. We will get my daughter. We will get her past those ages. We will break that cycle, because that is a cycle I will not let continue to perpetuate through my family, because it's happened to every woman on my mom's side of the family throughout time. I won't let it happen to my daughter. I will break that cycle. From the treatments to fight her ovarian cancer. I'm so sorry, Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
I really am.
That's horrible. I think the mothering part is important to remind people that we are mothers, even if we don't have children. Like, we mother our communities and our earth and our environment, our friends and family, and people even who don't like us. So,
I'm so sorry, Dawn. My heart goes to you, sweetheart. I as a mom, I'll type. Sorry, as a mom, I can't imagine. Kids are right there. I'm tearing up just a little bit. I am so sorry. I really am.
Thank you for sharing that. That is also something we don't talk enough about.
Is when we are older than our kids and they pass and we outlive them. I don't want to outlive my kids. That's actually one of my biggest fears. Is something's going to happen to them. Like my son, he has his Washington, D.C. trip in a week.
Oh my God.
I'm still terrified to send him on it.
I would be too. I'm afraid to put her on a school bus.
Right. Well, that's just it. Is through the year before my son started at the middle school, there was a shooting at his middle school. Mm-hmm. So I have legitimate reasons to be scared to send my children to school and to do these trips. And all I can do is hope and pray to whatever deity will listen that they return to me in one piece. Yeah. That's all I can do. I have to have hope and faith that this world will not be that cruel to me. even though it's been crueler in other aspects. My dad, he passed when I was pregnant with my daughter. There's a lot of things that happen in this world that we genuinely don't talk about. We don't talk about pain and hurt and trauma. We're all told to just push it down and keep a smile on our face because that's what's expected of us. Well, what if we're tired of faking it all the time? What if I'm tired of being smiley and happy? What if I'm just angry and I want to vent and let people know I'm angry and get them understanding why I'm so damn angry?
Yeah. Or at least
I'm not just angry
we
for
don't
me.
talk about that. We don't talk about our emotional state enough, because if it's not happy or something positive, it's considered negative. It's normal. Like fear is normal. Embarrassment is normal. Jealousy is normal. Anger is normal.
Yep. They're all normal emotions, and we're taught to feel shame over them. And that's where I tell my kids, I was like, they cry. If you feel uncomfortable crying in front of others, then hold the tears until you're in private. But never hold them back. If you need to cry in the moment, cry in the moment. And if that makes other people uncomfortable, then you know what? Make them uncomfortable. Get a Kleenex and keep wiping them away, but make them understand that what they did to you genuinely hurt you. And that's not okay, and that's not right. And tell them, when I can finally have a calm conversation, I will talk to you.
Yeah. Well, and that is an interesting point with the trauma dumping.
Mm-hmm.
Because we also do need to be in a space to receive that
Right.
kind of thing. So boundaries
They
are
are very important. That's just right, where you have to
Boundaries
know
are
where
hard.
people's boundaries are. But that's just it. Is again, that's another thing in society, which goes back to the 62 million men, is women trying to set those boundaries and people just walking right past them as though they don't exist, because they don't care whether or not we have boundaries, because in their minds, since childhood, and this is sad because they're perpetuating onto Gen Z, they're instinctively raised to believe they have ownership over women because they are women. You don't.
Yeah, we have always been, I mean, that's where marriage came from. Like, it is taking a woman as a trade
Property.
or an agreement or an alliance as a property. And that is generational privilege,
sure
is what I like to call that, for the men,
Yep.
particularly white men. And not all white men, but generational privilege.
It's not all men, but understand it's enough at this point that we can say all men, because it's all men until it's no men.
Exactly. There's a reason why men feel it's safe to take a decade in the bathroom and not have to worry about things getting done. It's privilege.
Mm-hmm. No, it is. But fortunately, I have one who he cooks, he does laundry, he takes out trash, was trying to mow the lawn, does all of it without me asking. So I don't care if he takes 20 minutes or 30 minutes in the bathroom, because I know he's doing his thing, he's resting, and then whatever else is going to happen in the house, he's going to help with it. But I got lucky because I found one who doesn't view me as property and understands that I am a partner. And we were engaged for 5 years before we got married, because I wanted him to know this was a partnership, period. Yeah. I wanted a long engagement. I wasn't going to have a 6-month engagement, then get married and then regret it. I did that already. Not happening again.
Yeah.
So 5 years. We have now been together 14 and married 9 this summer. I mean,
nice.
It's yes,
that's
because
really interesting, because
understood.
we're almost on the exact same timeline.
But it's just that I learned from my first marriage, and I don't call it a failed marriage. I call it a learning experiment, because that's what it was. I learned a lot of what I would not tolerate in a partner. And so
really, a divorce is just a really expensive breakup.
It really is. And that's what I told him. I said,
not...
I had no problem having a kid with him, with us not tying the knot, all of it. I didn't want to tie the knot unless I knew for a fact we were going to stay together, because separating everything is just really messy.
It's real messy.
It's really messy.
It's so expensive.
It is so expensive. So what day is the delegates vote in June?
June 6th.
June 6th? Okay.
Yep.
That's actually perfect, because that will be while I'm working, so we can get you scheduled for right after that.
Yes. Marriage is like pancakes. It's okay to throw the first one out. I preach.
Preach. If, in my case, my husband usually just eats it. It's burnt. He eats it.
Eat the crispy.
You vote on your husband's birthday?
Oh,
really
yay!
So my husband's birthday is actually the 7th. 6, 7. I
Nice.
know.
That's hilarious. I love that.
No.
My daughter's recital is the day we vote at the convention, so I'm missing her recital.
Oh no. By 3 minutes, but your role has always been to take care of him. Yeah, but that's just it. Is I had a little brother. My role has always been especially when my mom went back to work, is I became the third parent growing up. And that's one of the things I'm trying really hard to make sure my kids are not doing, which is why I've changed careers at 35. So that way I could be home more. But at the same time, when I do my little trips, I am gone for like between 5 and 8 days at a time. But I'm actually home more when the kids are home during the day throughout the school week. So it makes up for it.
Nice.
Because otherwise I work until 8 p.m. and then I come home and it's time for bed.
Yeah.
And I don't ever see my kids.
I think that's really typical of millennials. Were your parents divorced?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, same. My parents divorced when I think I was 10 or so, but very young, we were home by ourselves after school, and I took on that role too because I was the oldest.
Yep.
And I get resented by my brothers for that, but I don't think they get it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And my brother, he resented me for a long time until he joined the military and he went to Afghanistan. And he lost some of his brothers in arms there. And one of the gentlemen told him that he was lucky to have a sister that henpecked over him. He would give anything for an older sister who actually loved him rather than the one that he had who hated him.
Oh.
Hated him for just being born. And he goes, and you have a sister who loves you for just existing? He goes, you have no idea how lucky you have it.
Yeah.
My brother actually came home and apologized to me for all the shit he put me through when we were teenagers and in my early 20s. He broke down and he told me, he goes, Cole, he goes, I am so sorry. I did not realize until I lost people I cared about exactly how much I truly cared about you. And how much, looking back, he goes, while I was on the operating table before they put me under, thinking about all those times that you did everything to protect me, he goes, I'm sorry. I took you for granted. I will never do that again. And he hasn't. He hasn't. We still have issues, mind you, because brother, sister.
Yeah.
But when it comes to certain things like that, there's no anger, resentment, or hatred for either one of us. Instead, it's truly the whole, okay, we get it. At the end of the day, when our mom is gone because our dad's already gone, we're going to be the only people we have that actually know who we are because we've been there since birth. And I told him, I said, there's nobody who's going to know you better than me. Not even your spouse. Just because I've known you since you were born, Zach. So it's one of those, that's a sibling thing where as an older sibling, yeah, you're gonna be that one that they turn to who's gonna pull them out of the mud if they really get down deep, because you can't help but do that.
Yeah.
Only child, parents divorced when you were 18 months old. I made sure I had 2 for them. Gotcha.
All right, my friend.
Let's talk a little bit.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's just go over real quick. So I know you have a platform. Let's actually define what is your platform.
I like to say this in parts. So officially, it's cleaning up the office and cleaning up the mess that Diego Morales and his predecessors have made. Make things more accessible, make things more transparent, and make sure we're informing the public when it comes to elections. Unofficially, it's trying to evolve the way that politicians function in Indiana, where we need to be able to lead by example and not the do as I say, not as I do attitude, and sharing the baton, training successors, continuing to get people elected to continue to support the party up and down the ballot. We need a different way of campaigning, and we have got to, as a party, gain trust back from the public. And I think I have the insights and ability to do that.
I love it. I love it. And that's why I wanted to just kind of break down and say, what is exactly your platform? Because I'm making notes so that way next time we have more things to talk about.
All of the official things are at blythepotter.com. But there's so much more to it. Mostly because I know I've seen and heard for years what our communities need, and most of it's similar. We just sometimes say it differently.
Yep. And the best part is, and this is what I'm saying with everybody, the platform's evolving as they're evolving and they're hearing more from the people. And I love that because nothing is set in stone. It's fluid. You know, it's like, well, this used to be a priority, but now this is more of a priority and this has gone down to number 3. And you know what? That's okay. That's how it needs to be. We don't want anything set in stone. We need it to be fluid, because when it's fluid, then it can actually be fixed.
What we need set in stone is that the base decision-making process comes down to, are we honoring human rights when we make these decisions? Are we paying attention to the most underserved in our communities? Even the people who disagree with us, even the people who refuse to vote or who refuse to vote for us. And are we honoring what our predecessors are going to need? Our children, future elected officials, future party leaders. We have to change the way Hoosiers function with their government on all levels and how we function with our parties. Yeah, fundamental rights. Yeah.
Yeah, the fundamentals
Those
need to
are
be set in
non-negotiable.
stone.
Yep.
Yep, and then everything else needs to be fluid.
But
Well, my
sometimes
dear,
we add to those because human rights used to not be identified or defined as education or healthcare. I think those in the wealthiest country in the world need to be considered human rights.
Well, and that's how things change and morph as we are supposed to adapt to our modern society. Is where some of those fundamentals should be put in stone, being like, okay, yeah, I know. Healthcare is a basic human right at this point. Why? Because we're purposely making the environment sick, so we need to purposely heal our people.
Yep. And I have to go.
I was going to say, I got to let you go.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Message me. Let's get another one down.
I'll text you phone number. That way I know you see it, and then we will get you rescheduled.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Much love, my dear. I'll talk to you
later.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
So everybody, that is Blythe Potter. She is running in Indiana for their Secretary of State. Their primary is on May 5th, but the delegates will be going to vote on June 6th. So we'll find out in the middle of June whether or not she's on the ballot for the general election in November. It was good to meet you too, Candace. So thank you everybody for coming and hanging out. I am going to hop off now. I will talk to you all later. Bye. Oh, you're a delegate and a candidate? Ooh, hold on. Have I messaged you? Because I would love to have you on. Yeah, so typically I also go down people's follower or following list and try to see anybody who's like a candidate, representative, anything like that, and shoot them a message. I just haven't seen you on anybody's list yet. But yeah, I followed you. I'll send you a message and we can get you on and have a conversation, my dear. Well, here we are. But yeah, I will message you and we'll get you scheduled and we'll get you on because I would love to have you on, my dear. Okay, I will talk to you soon. I'm going to hop off now. Bye, everyone. Bet. Awesome. Rock. We'll make it happen.